Welcome to my presentation on Michael Porter's 4 competitive strategies. My name is Daniel Hadilaya. I'm a Doctor of Business Administration student at the California Intercontinental University. This slide talks about a summary of the situation, and in summarizing the situation, we're taking a clue from Whelan et al. 2017 analysis of Porter's competitive strategies that raised 2 key questions on a competitive strategy. One is, on what basis should a company compete? 2, and if a company should compete, should it be head-to-head, to gain market share or market leadership, or should the company just create a niche for itself? Hence, in my subsequent presentation, we'll be looking at the 4 aspects of Porter's competitive strategy. This presentation intends to look at each of these strategies proposed by Michael Porter for beating or outperforming competition. The first strategy is cost leadership. And what are we talking about here? This is the ability of a company to design, produce, supply, or even market its existing products of service more efficiently than its competitors. In other words, what we're trying to say here is the company is trying to do more with less, which is strategically driven by economies of scale, large scale production, etc. The goal is to be a low-cost producer within the industry of its operation or within the industry where it competes. Now, looking at a company that have excelled using the cost leadership, we all know Amazon. Amazon is a company that has built economies of scale, buying more from suppliers for lower cost, as well as delivering multiple products in one van, to the same or different routes. And we also know that Amazon has built a direct delivery to its consumers or its customers as it is at lower cost, delivering multiple products in vans at low cost. Amazon's inventory holding capability, we all know it enriches its huge economies of scale to be able to warehouse so many products for distribution, and also investment in its fleet management, all in a bid to ensure delivery of various products is done at a lower cost of operation in its route to market. And the result that we have seen so far from what Amazon has been doing over the years is low cost of procurement due to high purchasing power and low cost of reaching out to its consumers and customer base. The second Porter strategy is differentiation leadership. This is aimed at the broad mass market and involves the creation of a niche for a product or service that is perceived within the industry as having passed through the VRIO. Here, the VIRO framework we're looking at, as put forward by Whelan et al. 2017, is the valuable, rare, immutable, as well as the organization. Now, in this case, the company having excelled through the VIRO framework may decide, if it so chooses, to charge a premium for its products. The name of the company that have excelled with the differentiation strategy is GlaxoSmithKline, GSK for short. And they've been able to do this with one of their key brands in the oral industry, which is Sensodyne. And what has GSK done with Sensodyne? GSK transformed the toothpaste segment using Sensodyne by creating a consumer insight into the sensitivity space, that sensitive tooth is treatable and they charge a premium for it. Sensodyne was formerly a small player within the sensitivity category. The breakthrough is as a result of consumers not knowing their sensitivity pain is treatable, and GSK unlocked that core consumer question with letting consumers know that their pain was treatable with the innovation of Sensodyne that eventually came to capture the market share as well as market leadership within the sensitivity segment. And what was the result? As a GSK's annual report in 2020, Sensodyne became a $3 billion net sales brand. It grew 6% year on year for like 4 years and is still maintaining it. Porter's third strategy is called the cost focus. And this is a low-cost competitive strategy that focuses on a particular buyer or geographic market and attempts to serve only this niche to the exclusion of others. In other words, the companies using this strategy stick to the market where they have value comparative advantage or edge. A company that have excelled using the cost focus strategy is Dollar Tree. And what has Dollar Tree done with this strategy? They use the combination of value, convenience, and treasure hunt shopping experiences to its customers or its consumers as it is. In other words, Dollar Tree is largely immune from the big threat of Amazon because it uses its low-cost value item at $1 to attract its customers and stick on to its customers. And they've done this for several years. Even at the point where we had the pandemic, they were still able to hold down their consumer or customer base with the $1 value item, and it's still been on for years. And the result we've seen in recent times, even during this pandemic, is that they've gone ahead to open many shopping centers or many stores. However, in some quarters, we see some industry scholars who said they've been able to move some prices of their goods between the $3 to $5 range. The fourth of Porter's strategy is the differentiation focus. Unlike the cost focus, it concentrates on a particular buyer group, product line segment, or geographic market. In following this strategy, a company seeks differentiation in the targeted segment where those big players have neglected. A company that have excelled using the differentiation focus is Ophargenics. And what have they done? They develop orphan drugs to target diseases that affect a few people. Big pharmaceutical companies like the likes of Merck, AstraZeneca ignore. And one of such areas is gene repair. In other words, these diseases are rare and often life-threatening that do not have effective treatment options. So what Ophargenics did was to tap into a clinical experiential process targeting a fewer number of people, and the success led to the development of some drugs, and since then they've maintained their niche. And the result we saw was they saw the urgent need for an effective treatment and produced gene treatment for over 6,000 orphan diseases. Over 6,000 orphan diseases. These are areas that the likes of AstraZeneca, Merck, and other big biotech companies have ignored over the years. Now, considering the usefulness of Michael Porter's strategies to the companies I've selected, are these strategies really useful? The answer is both yes and no. Yes, in the sense that if you look at the current business models that are being run by these companies, just like the way the slides explain, I mean, we will agree to a very large extent that the competitive strategies these companies have applied has been very, very useful. We can see Amazon We also see many of us also witness what's going on with Dollar Tree. We see the rise in Sensodyne. I haven't captured the sensitivity segment or space, and we also see, the rise of organic. So, looking at what the companies are doing, applying the strategies, yes, the answer is yes. On the other side, or on the other hand, so to speak, I would say no, because a company can also apply, multiple strategies that can run parallel. What that means is that these strategies are not mutually exclusive. They could run in parallel depending on what your strategy or your strategic decision for the fiscal year or the financial year is all about. Would there have been other alternative competitive strategic methods? The answer will be yes, particularly during the following periods I've been able to enumerate on this slide. During the pandemic, a company might decide to scale down, and scaling down might be due to maybe some supply chain problems. So you might decide to look at another strategy for you to be able to meet your need. We see what's happening to Dollar Tree, due to some supply chain bottlenecks. We've seen prices of some items move between $3 to $5 range. Then, when you have a business disruption, there's always what we call the business continuity plan, which might switch you from one competitive strategy to the other. And a company's ability to be able to stick to a different competitive strategy when the need arises show how competitive you are within the market. And finally, whatever business model that is being run currently is just for a fiscal year or between a range of fiscal year, for example, 2020 to 2025. The future is what really matters. So a company that has diversification or divestment for the future, that's what really matters. What really matters is your strategy in the next 5 years, which shows that your continuity plan goes beyond the current. So for you to be able to have a strategy to diversify or divest in the future means you might want to stick or you switch to another competitive strategy for for the year. Let's take a case of what is called Amazon. Cost efficiency is realized through the economies of scale for Amazon. However, its reach, though is very, very extensive, in terms of the transportation network and ability to put multiple products in a van for distribution in a differentiation strategy, it doesn't really mean Amazon will not be able to switch. And Amazon is a cost leader when it comes, to the cost leadership strategy. I mean, it's also being able to buy some few smaller companies to differentiate its products from the competition. So this is exactly what this slide is talking about. There might be alternative methods. There's no one size fits all, and this is one of the gaps in Michael Porter's competitive strategy that some industry scholars have called out. However, the competitive strategies are spot on. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I'll see you soon.